here every day, Monday to Friday, rain or shine, hot or cold, sick, scared, unhappy, frustrated, depressed, but you come. You come on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday. You come on holidays. Many times, you don't feel well, but you come. And the question is, while we certainly appreciate it, I definitely appreciate it, and I'm certain this court appreciates it, because we see the results, the question is, why do you do this? Why do you come? Despite all of the reasons you could give for not coming. Why? Now, some people may say salary, but all of you, all of us in this room, we're all highly intelligent people. And we could find easier ways to make a whole lot more money. So it can't be for the money. So, why do you come? Deep down, whether you've ever really thought about it or not, deep down, each of you has this burning desire to do the things that Dr. Higgs mentioned. You want to make a difference. The results show that you're making a difference. But even more than that, the students say it when they come back, their parents say it, you are making a difference. You recognize what has been proven back in 1998. More than 200 studies have been done, which showed, and I was supposed to have some stuff on the screen, that I'm going to need some things in a little while, which showed, right, but it's all lopsided. Just want to make sure it's straight for my clip. Which showed that the teacher is the most important thing in a child's life. And since that time, hundreds more studies have all been done which prove the same thing. The most important factor to a child's success is a caring, effective, innovative, resourceful teacher. That's it. It's not the buildings, it's not the programs, it's not technology even. It's the teacher. And so that is why you come, because you recognize the importance of the teacher. Now, a lot of things, just flip through that. A lot of things that Dr. Higgs said, the ministry is trying to cause to happen. And I think it was last year or the year before, they came up with the ideal high school graduate. I think this is Marcellus Taylor's baby. And he said, the principal objective of the Bahamian education system is to produce citizens capable of caring for themselves and contributing positively to the national development process. And the profile of the ideal graduate outlines the characteristics that are desirable in all students who have participated in the Bahamian education system. This profile reflects qualities which are required in order to function positively and effectively in society. Now, there are about 16, 17 of these qualities. And I do believe the ministry is very serious about us focusing on these qualities. But one of the things, because I'm dealing with homeroom, and at one point I thought calling it this presentation, The Long Walk Home. And I thought, gee, that's depressing. For some of our students, Getting to the end of grade 12 is a long walk home. They experience no success, just failure. And then I thought, home run. That sounds positive, that sounds good. But it's not all about home run. And so therefore, I stuck with very simple, very practical homeroom matters. But I had under there, you can't have the ideal graduate without it. And I just want us to focus for a little bit on why homeroom is so vital. Now, we're going to look very briefly at some of these. I figured why I couldn't read. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't see this. It says that each student completing secondary school in the Bahamas should. And what I want you to do is, possess relevant knowledge in core disciplines, learning areas to be functionally literate. Where you get that in math, English, and so on. They must be able to think critically, be an innovative problem solver, and show initiative. Again, most of these you're going to get in the subject areas. Demonstrate creativity and innovation, communicate effectively and collaborate willingly, demonstrate flexibility and adaptability. Now, you get some of that in some of the subjects if the teacher focuses on bringing that particular quality out. But what happens if I'm just focused on, like was mentioned earlier, rote learning, studying for the exam, passing the exam, a lot of these other things they don't get. Utilize social skills effectively. These are the mandates, from the Ministry of Education. And just to backtrack a minute, you don't have to move the slide back. As was mentioned earlier and came out in our conclave just on Monday and Tuesday, a lot of our children do not go to preschool. So they have not been socialized. They don't know how to get on well with others. And now they're saying, we have to do it. It's a mandate. They need to be able to appreciate Bahamian culture and utilize the appropriate culture, I guess that should be cultural skills. Again, who is going to do this? Where is this coming from? How are these children going to develop these particular skills? Work productively with high-level competency. And these are all of those skills. Now, my understanding is you're supposed to be getting a chart for your rooms so that it's constantly in front of you and constantly in front of the students. But I've also made a copy for you to get this afternoon if you so decide you want to look at it earlier. All right? So here is what we have been mandated to do. But as Ms. Higgs so ably, Dr. Higgs, point out to you, even though the children all have on the same uniform, they all look the same, they are very, very different. And I have a video clip that I love because when I look at it, I see many of the children who come before me every day. And this clip was done basically to show, it was for racial injustice and inequality, but I think it brings out very well how a lot of our children feel. And so as you look at this video clip, what I want you to do is pay attention to those students who do not move. Just keep clicking through that. This was supposed to take a totally different guideline, but I don't want to bore you. I don't see my video.
Those of you with me.
Okay.
All right, I do want you to see that, and so I have it on my laptop. We're going to do an activity, which I think also brings out some of the things that were discussed earlier. And in the meantime, we're going to get that video because I do want you to see that. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to put yourselves in groups. I have groups of 4s or 5s, please. Just sit in groups or turn yourselves in groups.
Shoulder, take off your backpack. Line up about the race.
Start it again. All right, we have the video. Just pay attention for a moment, please. And as you do, remember, I want you to focus on those students who do not get to move. Look at how they feel.
Shoulder to shoulder, take off your backpack. Backpack, line up about the race. And we are racing
Turn the volume off.
for a $100 bill. The winner of this race will take this.
Volume.
A $100 bill.
Audio.
Before I say go, I'm going to make a couple statements.
Be as quiet as you can. You can't go too loud.
If those statements apply to you, I want you to take 2 steps forward. If those statements don't apply to you, I want you to stay right where you're at. Take 2 steps forward if both of your parents are still married. Take 2 steps forward if you grew up with a father figure in the home. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a private education. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a free tutor growing up. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to worry about your cell phone being shut off. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to help mom or dad with the bills. Take 2 steps forward if it wasn't because of your athletic ability. You don't have to pay for college. Take 2 steps forward if you never wondered where your next meal was going to come from. I want you guys up here in the front just to turn around and look. Every statement I've made has nothing to do with anything any of you have done. Has nothing to do with decisions you've made. Everything I've said has nothing to do with what you've done. We all know these people up here have a better opportunity to win this $100. Does that mean these people back here can't race? No. We would be foolish to not realize we've been given more opportunity. We don't want to recognize that we've been given a head start. But the reality is we have. Now, there's no excuse. They still got to run their race. You still got to run your race. But whoever wins this $100, I think it'd be extremely foolish of you not to utilize that and learn more about somebody else's story. Because the reality is, if this was a fair race and everybody was back on that line, I guarantee you some of these black dudes would smoke all of you. Only because you have this big of a head start that you're possibly going to win this race called life. That is a picture of life, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing you've done has put you in the lead that you're in right now. When I say go, On your mark. Get set. Go. If you didn't learn anything from this activity, you're a fool.
If you were really paying attention to those boys who did not get to move, you will notice one actually left. Then two of them started talking to each other. They checked out mentally. You saw the embarrassment, the rubbing of the face or whatever. We see that all of the time. These students that sit in front of us go through that. Sometimes depending on what you ask them to do, what you ask them to bring into the classroom, and so on, it puts them in that position. They don't have it. They can't do it. But a lot of it has to do with, as both presenters mentioned, what we put in them, the spirit we put in them, the way we mentor them, encourage them, build confidence in them. They'll feel that they can do it. But they're all coming from a totally different place. And the homeroom, it may not happen in math, English, social science, PE, art, music, but the homeroom, with 20 minutes, we can do a lot with these students in those 20 minutes. But the question is, how are we going to do it? It's a tall order. It's a tall order. How can we do it at this stage? I want to demonstrate how it can be done by having you do a little activity. I want you to quickly get into groups. Just decide who you're going to work with. And I would appreciate it if somebody... You can work at the tables, but... Yes. Bonnie. So that's a good thing. I want us to take that same mindset into the homeroom class. If you don't know what to do, you have almost 100 other people you could go to for help. Find your missing piece. Did you follow what I'm saying? And everybody, you are happy and cooperating. That's the spirit. Mrs. Riney said there's a spirit in this place, but we want to carry the spirit over. Mrs. Dr. Higgs mentioned it, and it's a happy spirit. It's a cooperating spirit. This is what we want. If you have a class this year, and you have issues, and you have a difficult student, and you don't know what to do, talk to somebody. Not just for the sake of venting, but talk to somebody who could assist you to bring out the kind of results, bring out the qualities of the ideal graduate with that child. And I thought it was very, very important when Dr. Higgs, as well as Mr. Scavella in his way, trying to help you to understand the children are all different. We have to find different ways to reach them. But the main thing is, we must do what? We have to reach them. We can't just say, I don't want dumb and stupid and leave that one. Or they ain't interested, they don't want to learn. They want to learn. They want to learn, they don't know how. And you are the experts. In that homeroom period, you could fire them up for the rest of the day. That's a stabilizing time. That's a get focused for the rest of the daytime. We need to do that. Now this may sound a little harsh or hard, but we're friends. students here, I believe. I feel very comfortable with everybody in this room. And I hope you feel the same way about me. But homeroom, as far as I know, starts at 8:50. If we're going to give the students the full 20 minutes, we can't be signing in at 8:50. Now we have days when things go wrong, all of us. But that can't be the norm. That can't be the norm. We need to be in the room, ready to receive those students at 8:50. And we can give them the full 20 minutes that they deserve. We're only giving them the minimum of what they deserve, 20 minutes. And I'm scared to ask for the other clip. Not there, it's gone. Okay. At some other point. But again, once we're there, then what do we do? What do we do? You saw it, because some of you said it to me. I saw it. All the administrators saw it. Some of us, we went to the homerooms. Yeah, we were there. But we stood at the door. We stood at the door. And we just check off who we saw and what have you. That's not homeroom. Marking the register is a major part of it. But there's so much more that we could do in that period. And the little video clip I wanted to show was actually the cat was eating his food. He was busy eating, enjoying it. And then this big rat come out. Big rat came out and bared its teeth, and the cat ran away from his food. And then the rat ran and started eating it. Nature turned upside down. And so I was wondering if that may not have happened with some of us last year. We were trying to into these children. I might even feel a little uncomfortable with them, so I stand in to the door. And then the children take over. We had to fix that, please, audience. I know we can do it. Whatever was wrong, if it's something to do with us, say it. Me, tell me, so we can fix what's wrong and move forward. You know, I shared with my colleagues last week something that I read a while back that almost made me afraid. I was always afraid. I don't like flying, but I do because I have to. But they said 90% of the time, the aircraft is off course. 90% of the time. That's a lot. It may not be off by much. It may have to go, maybe some turbulence, and they have to go under, on the side, over, around, whatever. But, or some other things, the traffic, whatever, and so they're directed to shift course and go way out, but they always get to their destination. Why? Because they have a flight plan, which would include all of those things. They have a flight plan. And before takeoff, they go through, I think it's a list of 30 or 36 items, and they check it off. And then the instruments and the tower and all those things, they always get back on course. So sometimes that happens in schools, it happens in families. You get off course. But there's no need for despair. We know what the goal is. That child in front of us, creating the ideal graduate. And we know what the flight plan is. And we just have to get back on course, all right? Now, it's really important because that we get to the rooms on time. And I know what a number of you are thinking, and I was thinking it as well. You get there at 8:50, and you may only have what? Yeah, a couple of children. 2 or 3 students sometimes in the room. Less than half. Who is best able to fix that? That's true, but as we already heard, and you know, if we sit back and wait for the parents to fix it, you think it's going to get fixed? And at our conclave, Dr. Philippe, I think that's how she pronounced it, she said, teachers are now, we used to say the parents were the most important, it's now teachers. And I think Dr. Hayes, she flipped through it, but basically she's saying the children don't have the support. They don't have the parents. They don't. I want you to see it as a game. I want you to see it as a game. And you can ask me before our next, in fact, you can ask me by tomorrow what it will be, because I need to discuss it. But in every level, every block, A block, okay, B block, C block, okay, the class, the teacher or teachers, homeroom, teacher or teachers, who could encourage, because you could do it. You could get at least 90% of your students to be in that room by 8:50. You could do it. Now, if you want to talk to me about some ways, I'd be happy. But you could get most of your students to be here at 8:50. And after talking with the powers that be, we'll talk about something substantial for that homeroom, that teacher or those teachers who could motivate, inspire, get those students to class, to homeroom by 8:50 in the morning. That's a goal, that's a challenge, and I know you can do it. We have some amazing homeroom teachers. There are persons who don't, they're always in their room. They're always there and on time. There are persons who, after lunch, you see them going ahead of time. I think one is Miss Johnson. One I saw was Miss Ernest. And I know there are many others who, before the bell rings, to end the lunch break, they're walking, going to homeroom. Some of you are always there. And you could say me, because it's true. I mean, Mrs. Carey, she has revival every morning. All right? The children sing and they're happy. I mean, if you want a spiritual start to the day, that's Miss Carey and her class. You all have great attributes, qualities that contribute to it. But there are just some little areas we want to adjust to make things better. And let me tell you seriously why. It's getting worse and we need to stop it because the stakes are high. The stakes are very high. This summer, we discovered that while the registers reflect one thing, something totally different was written on the report cards. Parents are becoming more, they're more observant. They understand the seriousness of what's going on, and they brought it to our attention. Ms. Thompson brought one to me, Mr. McKinsey brought one to me. I got several of my own where the information wasn't right. Gone are the days when if you make a little slip up or a little mistake, it's okay. It isn't anymore, because that's the difference between getting a high school diploma and not getting it. A child could lose out on a high school diploma because the punctuality or the attendance is low. Am I speaking the truth or not?
Yes.
Okay. So, 99% of you got it right. But I'm just saying it in case you get tired, because sometimes as human beings, we say, well, the rest of them ain't doing it, so, and you get tired. I don't want you to give up and get weary. I don't want you to get tired. If you're doing it right, please keep on. If you're not too sure you're doing it right, then try to make sure you're doing it right, because it's important. It's important. It's important. I can't stress the importance. There were so many students who, in our last group of graduates, who had issues, and those parents came and they wanted to kill me because I was working at the time, and because little things prevented them from getting that diploma. Some of them are still waiting for the diploma. And on that note, I just want to say this, I'm going to switch course for just a second. Colleagues, I'm just appealing to you. If a child has 54 or 55, now they can't get the credit because that's a D. That child is off only by 1 point or 2 points. Sometimes you may not be thinking and you just write in the score. But here's what I would like you to think about. I certainly believe black is black and white is white. And we could say, look here, if you got as close as 54, you should have worked a little harder and get that 56. What goes around, comes around. I'm a strong believer in do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And for people like me, my baby 28. But one of these days I may have grandchildren. See, this is homeroom. That's the perspective I'm looking at it from. These are the things that we do homeroom. And it may not seem important, and it may not have been important before, but it is vital now. These are children's lives. This is their future. Things have changed. Things have changed. Yeah, it may make us look bad, but hey, we can shake that off and move on. But those children can't shake that off. There's another child, Keandra Bella's moving to the U.S. And for several weeks, they've been fighting. We've been fighting, calling different ones, the homeroom teachers, whatever, because her record's not complete. Stuff missing. And a lot of the times, we're gonna miss it. You're looking at hundreds of children and you're looking fairly quickly, we may miss it. But if you, as the homeroom teacher, if you're meticulous, exactly. Somebody's reminding me, how would you feel if that was your child? You would say, these people are incompetent. You would be jumping up and down, you'd be having the fits, you'd be crazy. Because it's your child. Or it's you. One of the janitors, she's about 50. She just had to go the other day. She was being made permanent pensionable to her old school, D.W. Davis. She had to go and get information. Now, none of our teachers are still there. They could only go by what was written on her records. So, colleagues, I just wanted to say to you, homeroom is vital. Homeroom is where students are stabilized and focused, as I mentioned before. Homeroom is where students get information. Homeroom is where students get organized. Homeroom is home. for some of these kids, it's the only home they have. That's why some of them come, that's one of the reasons some of them come, even though they're not doing any work. Because they get